Welcome to my live teaching learning session of Principles of Microeconomics BECC 131 Part 5. I have discussed so many topics of this unit like scarcity and problem of choice you have done. Next is you have done theory of demand, elasticity of demand and theory of supply. Today, we will discuss elasticity of this supply and applications of demand and supply. Under this, topics to be covered, first is meaning of elasticity of supply. Next is we will discuss about degrees of elasticity of supply. Third is measuring methods of elasticity of supply. Next, we will do factors affecting, and next topic is applications of demand and supply. In today's session, we will cover all these topics. Now, let us start from elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply. The meaning of this concept is, first of all, you have to know about what is supply. As you have studied earlier in last session, supply refers to the quantity of a commodity which a seller is willing to sell of a commodity at the given price and at the given time period. But elasticity shows variation. Elasticity shows percentage change or proportionate change in quantity supplied which occurs due to percentage change or proportionate change in price. It means elasticity of supply refers to the ratio of percentage change in quantity supplied due to percentage or proportionate change in price. Now, law of supply you have studied in last session. Law of supply states that if other things remaining constant, then price and quantity supplied both are positively related with each other. Law of supply tells us in which direction supply will change as a result of change in price. It means it shows only movement of supply. And movement of supply may be of two types. One is extension of supply. Next is contraction of supply. So law of supply tells us only the direction in which supply will change. It may be extension or it may be contraction. As you know that there is a positive or direct relationship between price and quantity supply. Due to rise in price, supply will be rise. It is called extension of supply. When price falls, supply also falls. It is called contraction in supply. But if we want to know how much supply will extend due to 10% rise in price, or in what proportion the supply will change, then we will have to study price elasticity of supply. In other words, price elasticity of supply tells us the percentage change or proportionate change which occur in quantity supply due to the percentage change in price. So elasticity of supply is a very important concept because elasticity of supply tells us that how much change in supply will occur due to change in price of the commodity. We can denote this elasticity of supply by ES. E represents elasticity and S represent supply. ES is equals to percentage change in supply divided by percentage, or you can write proportionate change in price. It means ES is the ratio of percentage change in supply and percentage change in price. Now we will discuss about degrees of elasticity of supply. As you have studied in degrees of elasticity of demand, same as elasticity of supply has also 5 degrees. Elasticity of supply can be divided into the following categories. One is perfectly elastic supply. In case of perfectly elastic supply, ES will be infinity. And second degree is perfectly inelastic supply. When supply can't change, supply remains constant. Whatever change in price occur in the market, but supply will not change, that is called inelastic supply. In this case, elasticity of supply will be equals to 0. And in case of elastic supply, means supply can change at any time, either price change or not. If price remains constant, only supply varies or supply changes. That is called perfectly elastic supply, which is equals to infinity. And as it is clear by the name, inelastic supply shows there is no change in supply will occur due to change in price. Either price rises or falls when supply do not change. That is called perfectly inelastic supply. Third type is unitary elastic supply. This is the third degree of elasticity of supply. In this case, ES is equals to 1. Unitary elastic supply shows same change in price and same change in supply. If there is a percentage or proportionate change in supply is same as percentage change or proportionate change in price. If both the ratio of change is same, then elasticity of supply will be unitary elastic. Next is less than unitary elastic supply. In this case, ES will be less than 1. Less than unitary elastic supply refers to the change in quantity supplied when the percentage change in quantity supplied is less than the percentage change in price. Then it is called less than unitary elastic supply. And if there is more than unitary elastic supply exists, it refers to if the percentage change in quantity supplied is more than the percentage change in price, then it will be called greater than or more than unitary elastic supply. We can write more than unitary elastic supply in this form. ES will be greater than 1. So these are the degrees of elasticity of supply. Each and every degree we can represent it with the help of diagram. This is the diagram of perfectly elastic supply. In case of perfectly elastic supply, as you know that in case of this elastic supply, perfectly elastic supply, ES will be equals to infinity. Infinity means supply can be changed. Supply may be increase, may be decrease, but price will not change. If price remains constant, only supply varies or supply changes, then it is called perfectly elastic supply. Elastic means which can change. Here the word elastic is variability, which shows variability, which shows changeability, which shows variations, or which shows that any movement can be possible. So elastic supply is that supply when supply can change but price remains constant. In case of perfectly elastic supply, supply curve will be horizontal line which is parallel to the x-axis. So please keep in mind that these perfectly elastic supply and perfectly inelastic supply. These are the two extreme cases of or situations of elasticity of supply. In case of perfectly elastic supply, supply curve will be horizontal line which is parallel to the x-axis. In this case, quantity may be increases from OQ1 to OQ2 and it may be fall from OQ2 to OQ1 but price will remain same. So this is the situation of perfectly elastic supply. PES represents P represent perfectly, E elasticity and S is supply. When you draw the diagram, write on x-axis quantity supplied because this chapter is related with supply. That's why we have written on x-axis quantity supplied and on y-axis we have taken price. If we will discuss about demand, then we will take quantity demanded on x-axis and price on y-axis. The labeling of the diagram is very necessary and very useful while expressing these degrees or any diagram. Next situation is perfectly inelastic supply. This is also the extreme case of elasticity of supply. This is the second degree of perfectly inelastic supply. When there is no change in quantity supplied with a change in its price, then it is called perfectly inelastic supply. In case of inelastic supply, supply will not change. You can't increase or can't decrease the supply of any commodity, either price rise or falls. It means price can be changed, but quantity supplied can't change, then this situation will occur. So perfectly inelastic supply always exists in case of agricultural products because agriculture product supply depends upon nature and nature may be favorable or may not be. And as you know that agriculture is called the gamble of monsoon. Sometimes monsoon occur very clearly or very in a good situation, in a good condition. If monsoon occur in a very good, then crops will be produced more. If there is any situation occur like flood or drought, then agriculture production will fall. Drastically, it will decrease. So agriculture product supply remains inelastic. In this case, supply curve will be vertical or parallel to the y-axis. Perfectly inelastic supply in case of this, ES will be equals to 0. Why this is 0? Because supply can't change. Supply is inelastic. That's why we can denote by this ES is equals to 0. So in this case, curve will be vertical or parallel to the y-axis. Next is unitary elastic supply. In this case, unitary elastic supply always occur when there is same change in price and same change in quantity supplied exist. As you are watching here that percentage change in supply is 20 to 24 and the percentage change in price is also 20 to 24. It means there is a same percentage change in price and same percentage change in quantity supplied. In this case, ES will be equals to 1. And the curve of unitary elastic supply will be always start from the origin and it will be a 45-degree line. As we draw here a 90 degree angle shows curve. Okay? First of all, when we want to draw any type of diagram, we must draw 90-degree angle. And if we divide this 90-degree angle from in between of this origin point in center, if we take one line O S8, that is 45-degree angle, it shows that elasticity of supply is here unitary elastic. Generally, when we show unitary elastic supply, curve will be a 45-degree line. But if any line start from the origin, if any supply curve start from the origin, it may be either 60-degree angle, 30-degree angle, 50-degree angle or 80-degree angle. But the line passes from origin. If a line passes from origin, either it may be S7, S8, S9, all these curves shows unitary elastic supply. It means there is same change in quantity supplied and the same change in price exist. That's why elasticity of supply will be unitary elastic. Next curve is greater than unitary elastic supply curve. When there is a greater than or more than unitary elastic supply, then supply curve will start from the y-axis, not from the origin, not vertical, not horizontal line, not start from the x-axis. The supply curve will start from the y-axis. In this case, quantity supplied is the percentage change in quantity supplied is more than the percentage change in price. Here in this diagram, the percentage change in quantity supplied is OQ to OQ1. It means the change in quantity supplied is QQ1 and the percentage change in price is PP1. Now it is clear from this diagram, quantity supplied change is more than the percentage change in price. So it is called greater than unitary elastic supply. In this case, supply curve, which is S. Supply curve, as you know, that always upward sloping curve, and it shows positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. But when elasticity of supply is greater than 1 or more than 1, then supply curve start from the y-axis and always a upward sloping line. Here ES is greater than 1. It is clear. QQ1, the change in quantity is more than the change in price. Now next is less than unitary elastic supply. This is the fifth and last degree of elasticity of supply. In case of less than unitary elastic supply, the percentage change in quantity supplied will be less than the percentage change in price. It is clear from this diagram, here the change in quantity supplied is delta Q, which is showing that Q1, Q2. Q1 to Q2 change is less, but the change in P1 to P2, it means delta P, which is showing the change in price, is more than the change in quantity. When the change in quantity supplied is less than the percentage change in price, then supply will be called less than unitary elastic supply. In this case, diagram will start from x-axis, not from the origin, not from the y-axis, not a horizontal line, not a vertical line. It will be always start from the x-axis. So when supply is less than unitary elastic, then supply curve will be upward sloping as usual because it shows positive relationship between price and supply, but the curve will start from x-axis. And when elasticity of supply is more than 1, then the curve start from the y-axis. When elasticity of supply is unitary elastic supply, then supply curve start from origin, or line passes through from origin. Either it may be 45-degree line or 60-degree angle or 50-degree angle, doesn't matter. If a line passes through from the origin, an upward sloping line always shows unitary elastic supply. And in case of perfectly inelastic supply, supply curve will be vertical line parallel to the y-axis. Es will be equals to 0. And in case of perfectly elastic supply, supply curve will be horizontal line parallel to the x-axis and Es will be infinity. So these are the degrees of elasticity of supply. One is perfectly elastic supply, second is perfectly inelastic supply, third is unitary elastic supply, fourth is less than greater than unitary elastic supply, and last is less than unitary elastic supply. These degrees are very important in this elasticity of supply, and all the degrees you can show with the help of these diagrams. Then it will be clear all the difference in between of these degrees. Now next, we can show all these degrees in a same diagram when supply curve is S1, which is a vertical line parallel to the y-axis. It represents perfectly inelastic supply. And the line which passes through from the origin, which is S2 curve, supply curve S2, here elasticity of supply is equals to 1 or unitary elastic supply. If we take a supply curve from y-axis supply, and the last S4 curve, which is start from the x-axis, not from the origin, not from the y-axis. It is showing less than unitary elastic supply. Sometimes in exam, this diagram examiner give you and ask what will be the degree of elasticity of supply on S1 curve or S2 curve, S3 curve or S4 curve. In this case, you must have to be remember in your mind that S1 is a vertical curve, so it will be a perfectly inelastic supply. S2 curve start from the origin, so it is unitary elastic supply. S3 curve upward sloping but start from the y-axis, so it is showing greater than unitary elastic supply. And S4 curve, which is start from x-axis, so it is showing less than unitary elastic supply. So these are the different elasticity of supply in a same diagram. Next, how you can measure elasticity of supply. As you have studied in last session, elasticity of demand can be measured in with the help of so many methods like total outlay method. Elasticity of demand measuring methods are total outlay method. Total outlay method is known as total expenditure method or percentage of proportionate method. Third is point method or graphic method. Fourth is arc method. So same as elasticity of supply can also be measured with the help of this formula or percentage method. Measuring method of elasticity of supply is mainly the percentage or proportionate method from which we can measure elasticity of supply. Here PES represent price elasticity of supply. Its first formula is percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price is called price elasticity of supply. We can write down this method in this form also, like delta Q upon delta P into P upon Q. Here delta Q is, this formula is same as elasticity of demand formula. There is no difference. But the difference is that here we have written PES. Otherwise, in case of elasticity of demand, we will write PED, price elasticity of demand. Here we have written PES, means perfect price elasticity of supply. Here delta Q is showing change in quantity supplied, delta P is showing change in price, P is showing initial price, and Q is initial quantity. If we have given two price level or three price levels or a table of price and different quantities, we can estimate elasticity of supply by using this formula. So this formula is very important for calculating as elasticity of supply. There are two formulas. One is percentage change. If there is given percentage change in quantity supplied and you have given also percentage change in price, then you can use this formula to calculate elasticity of supply. And if you have given a table or schedule like different prices and different quantities, and if you want to estimate elasticity of supply from that table, then you can use this formula delta Q upon delta P into P over Q. Next is factors affecting of elasticity of supply. Now, what are the factors which affects elasticity of supply? These factors are called determining factors or factors affecting of elasticity of supply. Here are so many factors which affects our elasticity of supply is number one is nature of input. As you know that supply is the production of goods and services which offered for sale at the given price and at the given time period. It is affected by the nature of inputs. Inputs means because in case of production, when we use input, then we can get output. Here inputs manure. These are the primary inputs of production. And other secondary inputs are like raw material, electricity, fuel, etc. So many inputs we have to use for converting it into output. So nature of inputs may be easily available. In case of this, nature of inputs means inputs may be easily available or inputs may be rare or if inputs are easily available in the market and at the lower cost, then production can increase. And if production can increase, it means supply can also increase. And it means then due to fall in the price of inputs or easily availability of the inputs, then supply can change. And if there is any change in supply occurs, it represents that supply is elastic. So if nature of inputs are easily available, then elasticity of supply will be higher or greater than unitary elastic. If the input nature is complicated and inputs are very rare or scarce, inputs are not easily available in the market and the cost of inputs are very higher, in this case, production will be lower and supply you can't increase according to your willingness or your desire. So in this case, supply will be decreased or supply will be called less than unitary elastic or inelastic. So nature of inputs affects the supply of the commodity. If inputs are easily available, then elasticity of supply will be higher, and if inputs are not easily available, inputs are very rare or scarce, then elasticity of supply will be less elastic. Second point is natural constraints. Natural constraints means some commodities production depends upon nature. As you know that agriculture production always depends upon nature. Nature, you have no control over nature. So you can't increase or decrease the supply of that commodities which depends upon nature. In this case, if there is any natural constraint exist in the production of goods and services, then elasticity of supply will be inelastic or less elastic. If there is no any natural barriers, no any natural hindrance, no natural constraints exist in the production of goods and services, then production may be increased, may be decreased. In this case, supply will be perfectly elastic. So if natural constraint exist in the production of goods and services, elasticity of supply will be inelastic and vice versa. Third point is risk taking. Risk taking also affects the elasticity of supply. A producer can take more risk, depends upon his desire, either he want to take risk or not. People are generally of three types of nature. Number one is some people are risk lover, some people are risk averter, and some people always remains in case of risk neutral. If a person, if entrepreneur is willing to take risk, he will produce more. The supply of goods and services will increase. In this case, elasticity of supply will be higher. And if entrepreneur or businessman do not want to take any type of risk, he want to avoid the risk, avert the risk, then elasticity of supply will be inelastic or less elastic. So risk taking also affects the elasticity of supply. If you are risk lover, if any businessman want to take risk for the production of goods and services, in this case supply can change, elasticity of supply will be higher. And if you are risk averter, businessmen don't want to take any type of risk, then supply will be less elastic. Fourth point is nature of the commodity. Commodities have so many natures. Like commodities are of so many types. One is commodity may be durable, commodity may be perishable, and commodity may be semi-durable. Perishable goods are those goods which are generally used for 1 day or 2 day. You don't want to store, you don't keep for too much long time of perishable goods like milk, bread. These things are perishable nature. Fruits, vegetables, they can't store for the long time period. So if nature of the commodity is perishable, which is generally damage in 1 or 2 days, or you can use only for 1 or 2 day, not to store, not keep for long time period, then elasticity of supply will be inelastic. If nature of commodity is durable, durable like which can be used for long time period, for example, car, scooter, TV, fridge, etc. These goods are called durable goods which can use for long time period. In this case, supply will be elastic. And if nature of the commodity is semi-durable, in this case, neither elasticity of supply will be perfectly elastic. In this case, elasticity of supply will be less elastic. Semi-durable goods are those goods which can use for like 1 year time period, 6 months or 1 year, like clothes, shoes, tube light, etc., which can use only for limited time period like 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. So nature of the commodity affects elasticity of supply. In this case, you have to mention here three categories of commodities. One is perishable, second is durable, and third is semi-durable. And according to their categories, you can mention that in case of perishable commodities, elasticity of supply will be inelastic. In case of durable goods, elasticity of supply will be perfectly elastic. And in case of semi-durable goods, elasticity of supply will be less elastic. Next point is cost of production. Cost of production shows that how much cost involved in the production of goods and services. As you know that producers' main goal is to earn maximum profit at minimum cost. Each and every producer want to reduce the cost of production and want to increase the production at lower cost. So if cost of production is higher, if all the factors of productions are available in the market at a very higher price, then cost of production will increase. And due to increase in cost of production, producers' profit motive will fall and producer will produce less. In this case, elasticity of supply will be less elastic. And if cost of production is less, then producer's profit motive will increase. So producer will produce more goods and services. In this case, elasticity of supply will be more elastic. So cost of production inversely affect elasticity of supply. Rise in cost of production, elasticity of supply will be less elastic. Fall in cost of production, elasticity of supply will be more elastic or perfectly elastic. Next point is time. As you know that Marshall has divided time period into three categories. One is very short period, second is short period, and third is long period. Time period has always three categories and it may be for like very short period, long period, very long period. So here we are discussing about three type of time period which was categorized by or explained by Dr. Marshall. Time has three categories. One is very short period. Very short period, by clear from its name, very short period, you can't change any type of factors of production and you have no time to change supply of the commodity. When you can't change supply of the commodity, then supply will be called inelastic. In short period, there is a difference between fixed and variable factors. In short period, some factors remains fixed. You can't change that. And some factors are called variable factor which can change in short run. And if you want to increase the production of any type of goods and services, then you can use only variable factor units in short run, but fixed factors can't change. So supply can change, but not too much. In this case, elasticity of supply will be less than unitary elastic. And third time period is long period. In long period, you have too much time, you can increase or decrease the supply of the commodity according to the demand of the commodity. So long period, in long run, supply will be perfectly elastic. So if you have less time, you can't change supply. In this case, supply will be less elastic. If you have too much time, then supply can easily change because in long run, all the factors of productions are called variable factor. So in long run, elasticity of supply will be more elastic. And in very short period, when there is no time you have, so supply can't change. In this very short time period, elasticity of supply will be inelastic or less elastic. Next and last point is technique of production. Technique of production also affects the elasticity of supply. Techniques of production may be of two types. One is simple technology, which is easily understandable by all, and other type of technology is complicated or complex, which can't be easily understandable by all. If producer is using simple technology for the production of goods and services, then supply can easily change. In this case, elasticity of supply will be more than 1. And if producer is using complicated technology, which is very complicated to understand, which is very complicated to use, in this case, production will be fall and elasticity of supply will be less elastic. So technique of production is also the determinant factor of elasticity of supply. In this case, we take only two type of technique. One is simple, other is complicated. If technique is simple, easy to use, then elasticity of supply will be higher. And if technique is complicated, difficult to use, then elasticity of supply will be lower. So these are the factors affecting of elasticity of supply. In brief, we show that in like time factor, as we have discussed here, like short period, supply will be relatively less elastic, and in long time period, when we have too much time period available, then elasticity of supply will be more elastic. And nature of the commodity, if there is a perishable goods like milk, bread, fruits, vegetables, which can't store and which you can use only within 1 day, 2 day or 3 days, so these goods are called perishable. In this case, elasticity of supply will be relatively less elastic. And in case of durable goods, which can be stored for long time period, in this case, elasticity of supply will be more. And technique of production, if there is a complicated technique or complex technique, then elasticity of supply will be inelastic. And if you are using or producer is using simple technology for the production of goods and services, then elasticity of supply will be more elastic. Next is risk taking. I have discussed earlier that if producer is willing to take risk, here written is that elasticity of supply depends on the willingness of entrepreneurs to take risk. If entrepreneurs are willing to take risk, the supply will be more elastic. On the other hand, if entrepreneurs hesitate to take risk or not willing to take risk, the supply will be inelastic. And nature of the commodity, as you have studied, that perishable goods are relatively inelastic supply than durable goods because it is difficult to store the perishable goods. So all these are the factors of which determine the elasticity of supply. Now next topic is importance of elasticity. Why we study this elasticity concept? I have discussed with you elasticity of demand. Today we have discussed here elasticity of supply. Why we are studying elasticity? What is the importance of elasticity? What is the main important role of elasticity in our economy? Why in economics we have to study elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply? So what is the reason behind this? What is the importance of this concept? So these are the points here mentioned which is explaining the importance of elasticity. First is many business and economic decisions are not based on if something will happen, but by how much will it change? By, for example, how much should business firm raises or lower their prices and by what? Will total revenue, this affects profit, go up or down when price increases? Generally, elasticity shows what percentage change will occur in demand or in supply due to change in price. Price always affects our demand and price always affects our supply of the commodity. So how much price change affects our change in demand or change in supply. To study these concepts, we must have to know about elasticity. Elasticity concept is very important for government while government fixing the taxation system, while government imposing taxes on producers or consumers, then government always keep in mind that what type of commodity has more elasticity of demand and what type of commodity has less elasticity of demand. Because if demand is inelastic, it means whatever you can keep price either rise or fall, demand can't change. In this case, government can impose more taxes on that commodity whose demand is perfectly inelastic. If government impose more taxes on those goods which demand is highly elastic, in this case, if government impose taxes, then price will be higher, but we will not demand more because demand is perfectly elastic. Demand can change, demand can increase or decrease due to change in price. And demand is called elastic when demand can be postponed, when demand is not necessary goods, and demand is called inelastic when we demand for necessary goods and the commodity which we want to take because we have a habit of consuming that commodity. In this case, demand will be called inelastic. In this case, if government impose more taxes, like if milk prices increases, then consumer will pay. If petrol price increases, consumer will always pay because these goods are necessary goods. In this case, the amount of whole taxation which the government impose on consumer, government receive total amount because demand is inelastic. So in case of inelastic demand, government put more taxes. And in case of elastic demand, government impose less taxes. And if there is perfectly inelastic supply can't change, then government will put less taxes. And if supply can change, government will in elasticity of supply is different from elasticity of demand because as you know that supply shows positive relationship between price and quantity supplied and demand shows negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. So public policy, taxation policy, or petroleum countries like OPEC countries, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, always fix the price to see the elasticity of demand. So elasticity of demand, if it is inelastic, price will be higher, profit will be higher of the producer. If demand is relatively more elastic, then price will be lower and monopoly can't charge higher price in case of elastic demand. So if we want to fix a price by monopolist, the monopolist also have to see that demand either it is elastic or inelastic. So the effect of public policy will be different depending on the elasticity of the good in question. For it means generally elasticity, what elasticity shows how much will the price of a good increase if a tax is placed on it. How much total revenue will increase and affects profit go up or down when price increases. So all these things depends upon elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply concept. So elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply is very important concept and its importance is clear by this point also. This point is paradox of poverty amidst plenty. Here, you know that agriculture, in case of agricultural farmers, farmers always remains poorer. Either they produce more crops or they produce less crops. A bumper crop, instead of bringing to farmers, bring poverty. This is called the paradox of poverty amidst plenty. It happens due to inelastic demand for most of the agricultural products. Because our agriculture product demand remains always inelastic. Inelastic means our demand will not change. If we take two chapatis, if we take 10 chapatis or 8 chapatis in a whole day, it will not, we will not change the number of chapatis. Either the price of wheat or flour rises or falls because this is necessary thing and we demand for necessary product remains always inelastic. So demand for agriculture product is always inelastic, but supply depends upon nature. When supply of crop increases as a result of rich harvest, the price drastically fall due to inelastic demand. So as a result, their total income goes down. So in this case, in inelastic demand of the agriculture product and inelastic supply of the agriculture product, or sometimes it may be elastic due to change in weather, change in monsoon. So in case of agriculture product, producer or farmers remains always poorer due to inelastic demand for most of the agricultural products. This is called paradox of poverty amidst plenty. It also depends upon inelastic demand or variation in supply or elastic supply. So, in this case, elasticity of demand or elasticity of supply or concept of elasticity play very important role to understand this thing that why farmers remains always poorer. Otherwise, in case of industrialist, if industrialists produce more goods, their income will increase. If industrialists produce less goods, their income will fall. But not happen in case of agricultural farmers. If farmer produce more, their income falls. If farmer produce less, then farmer will sell less. Then their income will also less. So, in all cases, in case of bumper production, in case of less production, farmer condition remains always poorer. So, this is called the paradox of poverty amidst plenty, and it also shows importance of elasticity of demand and supply. Next is application of demand and supply. Application of now you have done demand, supply, elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply. Now, what is the use of application of demand and supply tells us the use of demand and supply in our life, in our economy, why we study this demand and supply concept. What is the application of this? Where demand and supply concept can use. The applications of demand and supply analysis in this we can know about price control and rationing, black market, rent control, minimum support price. We summarize below the important result of price support policy, incidence of indirect taxes, and price and income stabilization in agriculture. If you want to understand all these topics, all these concepts, then you must have to know about theory of demand, theory of supply, and elasticity of demand and elasticity of demand supply. Because by knowing these concepts, then you can understand what is price control, what is rent control, what is minimum support price. Generally, price control and rationing uh, or black market or rent control, these three concepts are related with price ceiling. and minimum support price is related with price floor. In this case, the price floor and price ceiling. What is price floor and what is price ceiling? These, as you know, that price is determined with the help of demand and supply curve. Demand curve is always downward sloping curve. Supply curve is always upward sloping curve. Where both curve intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined and equilibrium quantity is also determined. So price floor and price ceiling both are fixed by government. If government interfere in the market, then government can increase the price level from the equilibrium price level, and government can also decrease the price level from the equilibrium price level. Price floor is known as minimum price legislation. Minimum price or price floor both are same. When price is not allowed to decrease below a certain level, then it is called price floor. For example, minimum wage, minimum support price, all these concepts are related with price floor. And price floor is determined by government. And price ceiling, the other name of this is maximum price limit. When price is not allowed to increase above a certain level, then it is called price ceiling. Example of this price ceiling is rent control. Price ceiling and price floor both can be clear with the help of this diagram. Here in this diagram, demand curve is downward and supply curve is upward. Where both curve intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined. And as you know that sometimes some producers artificially create artificially shortage of some necessary goods like drugs, medicines, etc. You know that medicines are very necessary for the patient, and to take advantage of the poor patient, sometimes chemist or pharmaceutical companies increases the price of the medicines and give medicines at a very higher rate, and some poor person or poor consumers who can't afford these medicines at a higher price, they lost their life. So in this case, government enter in the market and government put restriction on the price, and government seal the price. Seal means government can put the maximum limit of the price which remains always below the equilibrium price. It remains always below the equilibrium price. It means government can say that no one can charge above this price which is fixed by the government. So in this case, shortage will create because supply is less due to fall in price and demand is more. And price floor, government always provide this facility to the agricultural farmers because price floor give assurance to the farmer at least this much price farmers should receive for the production of their crops. Otherwise, their income will fall and their condition will drastically decrease. So if government increase the price and government keep the price which remains always above the equilibrium price, that is called price floor. And price floor is also known as minimum support price. It remains always above the name is minimum price, but it remains always above the equilibrium price. It shows the situation of surplus because when price rises, as you notice that there is a positive relationship between price and supply. Due to rise in price, supply will rise, and due to rise in price, demand will fall. So this shows surplus situation. Price ceiling and price floor both are very important concept, and both price can be fixed by the government. When government interfere in the market, then government can decrease the price and government can increase the price from the equilibrium price. Now agriculture product price fluctuate, as you know that I have discussed earlier that agriculture production always depends upon the nature. It Price may be decrease, price may be increase, but demand remains always inelastic. That's why agriculture production, in case of agriculture production, farmers' condition remains always poorer. So we have discussed all these topics in this chapter, in this unit, elasticity of supply and applications of demand and supply. Thank you.